Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome back to another market open. This is kind of crazy what's going on in the markets right now. I don't know if you guys are seeing some of the stuff that's going on, but everything is green. It's a green day, and it's Friday, and you would expect a sell-off to be happening imminently on a Friday because people sell off on Fridays. But it's green. It's very, very, very green. Palantir is very close to hitting $12. S&P, $420. The S&P index fund is $420. ARK Innovation is closing in on $40. When is the last time you've seen ARK Innovation at $40? The banks are up. Truist is up at around $30. Truist, that one is kind of obvious. Truist was going to be at $30 one day. But things are going a little crazy. Things are going a little crazy right now with what's going on in the markets. Thank you, 65 people, for being here. Seth, Roth, Joseph, Paul, Jared, Ahad, Jude, Midwest, Justin, Johnny, Broccoli, Bob, Delty, Mr. Russo, Larry, Cold Monkey 20, Bay Ray, Jason. Bro, we spending too much time together. Yeah, I live streamed for like 6 hours yesterday. Not 6 hours, like 4 or 5 hours, but it was fun. Philip Rizzo, admit in disbelief. Yeah, pretty much. Felicia, Palantir's at 12. Arshad, Cameron, Ryan, Justin, teacher. What's up, Justin? Are you actually a teacher? Because my mom and my sister are teachers, so I have a lot of love in my soul for teachers. Yeah, so I'm about to pull up the charts, but this is just insane. It makes me a little scared because I'm like, all right, what's going on exactly? This is a type of a rally that we're not supposed to be getting randomly. But I'm also like, I mean, if it's gonna rally, let it rally. Palantir hits 12 pre-market, up 2.21%. So now I think the next level is outside of 12. Can we test some even better highs? Can we run this sucker up to my average at 15? I mean, literally, I was buying this stock at $12 February 2022. A little bit over a year later, we're here. It's just insane. It's just insane. Look at the volume of it. Yeah, the volume is also insane. Yesterday, the volume was 157 million, guys. And the average volume is 37 million a day. And so it's just kind of crazy. I mean, you can see all those orders coming in right now. It's a lot. It is a lot. So we've got 7 minutes till market open. We're going to see what happens. Some other stocks that are there. What do we got? We got SMCI up a little bit. Nvidia's at 316. Holy crap. I did not know that. Maybe that was 316 yesterday. I didn't see. I thought it ended 303 yesterday. No, it must have ended at 316 yesterday because it's 315 pre-market. Wow. Truist, baby, $30.25. The reason I'm really mad that Truist is up is because I needed to buy some more, specifically some more options. And now those options are going to be so fucking pricey this morning. So I'm probably not going to get in, but I have the money ready for that. And I just probably not going to be able to get it. Let's see if we can get back to the red just for a little bit today. You got S&P at 420. Weight Watchers is up at 8. Duolingo's 150. ARK Innovation closing in on $40. Tesla 177, getting closer to the 180s. It was stuck at 160 for a while. So those who want the dip there should be heavily rewarded. Look at the NASDAQ, 12,688. I mean, this is just insane. Everything is green. And it feels really weird. Enphase is not running up at all, by the way. Enphase should be running up a lot more than it is. Netflix at 371. I mean, I don't know if I should, if I want to believe this, but this is the reality of what's going on right now. And I think also the question is like, why is this happening? And I think it's because the market is pricing in all this shit. Now, granted, the sell and may go away thing might have not happened yet, and the rug pull is coming, but maybe it's not. When everyone is buying one stock, then you know it's time to sell. That is true. Whales are loading up. That might be happening as well. Did you own Palantir in 2020? This happened before. Macro was much different, but fundamentals were also way worse. Big money looks for confirmation, blowing 52-week high with clear roadmap to S&P. Yeah, so I didn't own it in 20. I did not own it in 2020, but agreed. Macro was different and fundamentals were way worse. So now, as the fundamentals are much, much better. I mean, the balance sheet is amazing. No debt, 2.9 billion in cash, S&P 500. That's the thing. Amit, love you rolling hard on your startup, but your talent is talking and YouTube is your platform. I appreciate that, man. A lot of people reached out last night saying you have a little bit of a talent for YouTube and talking and stuff. I think in general, I'm decent at communication, and I think we can utilize that in a lot of ways in life. And hopefully it's we can find ways to utilize it. But the fact that we're right now at this point in my life, I'm utilizing it to cultivate this community for Palantir, and it's fun, man. It's the most fun I've had in a long time. Who would have thought in college, when I was in these stupid finance business classes, my pseudo career would end up becoming a content creator that focuses on one company that's massively disrespected by the market. I mean, these are the things that college professors don't think about, because in my marketing class, we were talking about TV commercials, bro. Like, no one was talking about building a community. No one was talking about fucking cowbells. You know how much marketing this cowbell has done just because it's like a fun thing that all of us enjoy? Like, no one talks about that shit. And this is the problem with the modern business infrastructure of how things are thought. Alibaba had earnings as well. I didn't get to see their earnings. Did anyone see them? I'm about to pull them up right now. Alibaba earnings. It's down in a sea of green. Alibaba's down. Okay, Alibaba, the revenue rose 2% year on year to hit 229 billion in the first quarter. So revenue growth was 2%. Non-GAAP diluted earnings per share were 1.34 yuan versus 2.08 yuan, up 35% year over year. Okay, that's fine. Retail sales in China rose by 18.4%. China generates 50%. Wow, China generates 50% of the world's online shopping transactions. I think we forget how big China is, bro. It's like 1 billion fucking people there. All right, well, if you own Baba, it's down. So probably should buy some Palantir instead. This is the 1 minute chart for those who are asking. Okay, we're going to go to the 1 minute on Palantir. So we have 2 minutes till market open. We're going to see how this bad boy works as soon as the market opens. And this one is going to be interesting to see where this goes. I've been buying for so long that I don't know how to sell. Palantrillion, what's up, man? That's the OG Jay in the chat. Happy you're here. SoFi. SoFi is 506 pre-market. So nothing too crazy. By the way, guys, we're going to have Adam joining today. So let me get, I'm going to send the link to him. He's going to be joining us as we see what happens with Palantir this morning. Adam was on the Monday show, which was super, super fun. And so he'll be here today. Adam, I sent you the link on Twitter. What's up, sir?
What's up? What's up? You hear me all right?
I hear you. It looks like we might see a little 12 action in about 30 seconds.
Nice. We're up?
We are up at 12:01 pre-market.
Cool. I got some cool stuff.
Until the open, and we're going to see what happens. Jay tells us thinking about selling some puts to hopefully get a discount. People will take profit off of Palantir. I think they might, but also if it's rallying,
guys,
I might come in. Go ahead.
After you do the market open, I have a couple of things to talk about that. It's like to add to that.
Okay. Cool. Bottom of happiness is doing something you enjoy and you're doing it, brother. Yep. This is why it's super fun. Why does Peter Thiel never talk about Palantir? I think he's too rich to talk about Palantir. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't know about anything. And I think maybe that's for the best, is what he's decided. He doesn't do any public media and press.
Peter Thiel is all about politics. He's at the point where he's trying to mold
He doesn't give a shit about a lot of the other stuff.
mean,
But I think he plays an influential role in the background. All right, 9:30 a.m., May 19th, 2023. The stock market is now open. Wake your ass up. All right, so we got Palantir fighting for 12, 1193. So right at 12, it got hit with a bunch of sells. And as you can see, it's coming down. So we're seeing how that's working right now. We're going to see how the resistance happens and kind of where it ultimately decides to keep going. But There you go. It's fighting for 1193. We'll get back to it. SMCI 167, Baba 83, Nvidia 315, Truist Financial $30, Apple 175. So Apple finally breaking that 173 spot that it was in for a while, and now it's Meta closing in on 250 at 246, Salesforce 212, Walmart 151, S&P. This one is just absolutely insane. It's $420 right now. So the S&P, there you go, at 420. Tesla at 177, Microsoft 317, Google 124. Wejo 36 cents, SoFi 510. SoFi was 440 in the beginning of the week, so this is a nice run up for SoFi. Obviously, that analyst report kind of crushed it, and now it's coming back to life. Open Door 240. Open Door I've disrespected a lot, but if you bought it at 98 cents in December, you're doing very well on Open Door, which maybe it should have taken a better look because it probably was a buy. Shopify at 60. Arc Innovation, by the way, bought another 208,000 shares of Palantir yesterday. They sold I think like 60 or 70,000 shares of Shopify. So they're offloading that position. I think they're taking a bunch of that money, just piling it into Palantir. Enphase at 164. Neo at 7. AI is up 37% this week. C3 AI. This one might actually be a little bit of a bubble, but nonetheless, the market cap is relatively low at $3 billion. So I don't know what the share float is. So there might be some fundamentals to the stock price going up on buying pressure, but it is also up 37%. All right, there you go. We got 12. There you go. We have $12. Adam, what do you think of us hitting 12 bucks? We blew on 12. 1209, 1211. There you go.
First of all, you got to ring the bell, right? We have
I got to ring the bell. We got $12, right? Baby.
I don't have a bell like you. So yesterday I hit 50 people in a live, so I took out the bottle and started crushing it.
I gotta send you a bell. That's what we gotta do. I gotta send you a bell.
Well, 4% up. All right. I wanted to just think theoretically, right? Everybody likes to think theoretically. Let's do it, right? Everybody thinks there's going to be a pullback on Palantir, and very much so there could be. I'm not saying there is. I'm not saying there isn't. Let's just think logical. Current market cap of Palantir is 27 billion, 28 billion right now, approximately.
Correct.
The last time OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT, was valued, it's valued at $30 billion. So a company that has one platform, it does one thing, an AI for everyday use, that still has no idea how it's going to get profitable, is worth $30 billion. Palantir, that has 3 segments: commercial business, government military, government non-military, 3 segments, is developing an AI platform similar to ChatGPT, similar to Bard, specifically for their use cases across commercial, government military, government non-military. How is it possible that OpenAI is worth $30 billion? Last time they were valued, I'm sure they're valued more now.
Yeah.
Palantir is worth $30 billion right now. Somehow people are saying Palantir is overvalued, but OpenAI just got a $30 billion valuation. Let that fucking sink in, people. How you like them fucking apples? Most people are not talking about that, right? Now, am I wrong? It just came up to me yesterday. Am I wrong in what I'm saying?
This bad boy just went to 1234. This is it's up another 5%. So no, you're not wrong. I think this is really important because like OpenAI also doesn't make money. They're using all of Microsoft's dollars, right? And maybe they're getting some money from ChatGPT Premium, but that's probably just paying for servers. They're not actually making money, and they're not actually being implemented into real use cases outside of what consumers are using it for. So when Palantir is using it for some real shit, and Palantir has a potential operating system for the government and all these other factors, investors would be willing to pay a premium. Correct. You are correct on that.
Good. I got another one for you. Thank you. That's why I was so excited to do the live today. Yo, shout out to my man Ryan. By the way, Ryan has I guess you could call it a political channel. He's not Democrat or Republican. He's kind of in the middle. If you guys want to check it out, he has a really good channel, and he holds New Jersey accountable. He goes he bum rushes politicians and starts asking them questions in lives. It's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah, he has like New Jersey First. I think he has like he can tell you about it. But anyways, shout out to Ryan. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. He's also a crypto guy. So shout out. A lot of crypto guys got into Palantir because of me, which I never realized. So the second thing I wanted to say about the OpenAI and the valuation. Yesterday, Cathie Wood bought 280,000 shares, 200 something, whatever, right under 300,000 shares. The total volume of Palantir was, I think, 170 million
157
yesterday.
million, something like that. Yeah.
157. Where's all the other money coming from? So everyone
That's a
thought
good
this push was from.
question.
Everyone thought this push was from Cathie. I thought so too. I thought Cathie would have bought another 4 or 5 million. I think I even said it in a video. Lo and behold, she bought 280 million, which is huge. But
280,000. She got 280,000.
sorry, 280,000. It's huge, but it's not a big number, right? For institutional investors. Where's all the volume coming from? Obviously, people are investing. Obviously, there's institutional investors that are like, yo, Palantir is the real deal. Palantir is still not mentioned. Everyone talks about Palantir, but it's not mentioned. And CNBC, they never put the ticker symbol up. They talk about Meta and everything else, but not Palantir. So with that said, there's no... Is it overvalued right now? I don't know. I'm not going to give you guys an opinion on that. I'm just saying that people that say, oh, it's going to retreat to 7 or 8, maybe. But think about it. It's valued the same as OpenAI. Now tell me, you think ChatGPT is on the level of Palantir 1 for 1? If you think it is, then it is. I'm not arguing, but just think about that. People are not realizing it. That's all I got to say.
No, it's a very fair point. I think also this idea that we go to 8 to 7, I think that's a little too much right now, a little bit too bearish. 9 to 10, if we retrace that, I think that would be down 30%, but that's okay because like we're coming from like the low 7s. So if we retrace back to 9, 10, that's all right. 7, 8 would be a little bit too much. Like there would have to be too much selling side. Remember, like for a stock to go down, people have to sell it. And everything that happened over earnings is positive momentum. So the question is, what's the reason to sell? If people say pullback, it's like, okay, but the volume, your first argument that is coming from institutional investors, they're not selling it in 2 days. That's not what they do, right? They're buying it. They've made their thesis. They've established a position. They might sell it in the next 3 quarters or in the next 3 months, but they're not selling it tomorrow. So even if there is a pullback, I do not think there is a pullback so dramatic to the point that all of this buying pressure we see immediately falls away. And as a result of that, we should be nice for maybe 10, 11 bucks if that establishes a floor, which is not too bad.
Yeah. So to add to that, this is just completely my hypothesis. Most institutional investors want to hold for 1 year to get the tax benefits. They don't want to hold short term. Also, they're investing right now not for a short-term gain. They're investing because they have a hypothesis and a theory that Palantir could capitalize on this artificial intelligence. Now, look at the players in artificial intelligence. Where are you putting your money into? Google, Microsoft, Meta, that are already crazy value. Not to say they're not great companies. I'm just saying, like, where would you get the best bang for your buck right now? If you had $100 to invest, $1 million, $1 billion, where's the best bang for your buck? Palantir, at even $30 billion, still has so much room to grow. And we have FoundryCon coming on right now, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, just think about the valuation. Compare it to OpenAI. For anybody that thinks that Palantir is overvalued right now with this recent pump, how? Compare it to OpenAI. And somebody in the comments said OpenAI has first mover advantage. It does not, because Palantir does not compete with OpenAI. It's 2 completely different things. If anything, Palantir has first mover advantage for AIP system, which, to make it easy, is ChatGPT for commercial, military, and non-military government.
Yeah, and the thing about first mover advantage is people have to remember, like ChatGPT has 0 leverage now. Like the large language models that it's trained on they're commodities. They don't matter. The data is the only thing that matters. That's why Bard is actually not that bad, because it has Google's real-time data. But now ChatGPT just introduced itself first, right? So a lot of people are using it. They might not want to use something else. But in the context of enterprises, Palantir has something that really hasn't been introduced to a lot of enterprises at scale, obviously with the protection of data, security, all that stuff. This is what Karp's been talking about. And so I agree with you, 30 billion, even though people may think that is pricey, if AI is where the next trillions of dollars are going to be made for investors, just like mobile was and cloud computing was, who are you going to bet on? It's like, what company are you actually going to bet on? Are you going to bet on Snowflake, where the valuation is stupid? Are you going to bet on C3 AI, where there's nothing really there? Are you going to bet on Google, Microsoft, Amazon, where, like, yes, they're going to make AI plays, but they're already at $1 trillion. For them to even fucking double, you've got to create another $1 trillion of value. It's not easy.
And it's going to be very, very interesting to see what's going to say, to see what's going to happen, because Palantir is cloud agnostic, right? You can use Palantir on any cloud. So you think this AIP is not going to be coming to cloud services near you? Think about it.
Yeah.
It's cloud storage essentially is taking data, multiplied it times a gazillion, and now you can store data, right? That's cloud essentially.
Yep.
Cheap, fast, millions and millions of data points. But combing through those millions and millions of data points, you still need to be able to use the data. Palantir allows you to use the data now with their implementations that are being built on top of them, right? But it's agnostic. Before, you could only use one cloud service and you couldn't switch. It was very difficult, like changing an accountant. Now it becomes easier because, well, if you switch from Google to Microsoft or Microsoft to Amazon Cloud or IBM, I think also is using Palantir, well, you're still using the same Palantir application, just on a different cloud. So nothing really changes for you. As far as I understand that, I'm not super technical, but that's my understanding of what it is from listening to all the technical guys talk about it.
No, that's correct.
It's pretty
cloud
cool.
agnostic. We're not providing compute. That's why Carp was saying like cloud production doesn't fucking matter. Like, yeah, you have to store data, but you have to understand what you do with that data. Such and says OpenAI is just LLMs. It doesn't have the tools to build anything, which is correct. And large language models ultimately are commodities.
500.
We did hit 500, so let me ring the bell real quick. Thank you, 500. Adam, we got to have you on every day for hitting 500. This is amazing.
Bro, I really appreciate it. By the way, I want to give a shout out to all the subscribers, fans. I don't even know what to call it, but thank you guys for showing all the love. It seems that people like us acting like clowns, but like clowns that contribute. Like we're not just like clownish. Like we joke around, we're having fun, and we have a really good show.
By the way, you guys can follow him right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, please follow my Twitter. Bro, I did a Twitter space yesterday. I was like, all right, let me do a Twitter space. I was so excited. 0 people came to my Twitter space.
Yeah, Twitter spaces is not the best because they don't recommend it. The algorithm doesn't really, so it's hard for people to like.
When I start one on crypto, for example, I'll have like a couple of hundred people in there really fast.
Wow.
It's the funny thing. But my crypto channel, I have like 8,000 followers. And my crypto channel, even though it's dying, still has like 17,000 subscribers, right? Like I'm a much bigger crypto influencer for whatever you want to say. But I appreciate everybody that's showing me love, and I love Ahmed's show. It's really, really cool. I'm going to try to do these once in a while when I have something to contribute. Like I listen to your show, and then when I come up with something that really complements what you said, that can help the audience, I'm like, yo, I want to come on to talk. Like I just want to, because everyone's like worried. When do I sell? When I not sell? And my answer is nobody can tell you that, right? And people are getting aggravated with people selling or not, which I made a video yesterday. Don't get mad at anybody. Everybody else, don't count your own pockets. But at the end of the day, if you think Palantir is valued, just look at OpenAI. It just got its valuation from Microsoft, just right now.
Well,
Google and Microsoft, yeah, they're spending billions of dollars to acquire add-ons to their company, all to do with AI. You don't believe me? Just look at Google's last I guess Google Investors Day, whatever you want to call it, their equivalent Investors Day, Google I/O. 99% of the words coming out of the guy's mouth, the CEO, AI, we have AI. Why? Because AI is the future. It's the next bubble, or maybe it's just the next investment opportunity for the decade. So out of all the AIs, Palantir is in pristine position to take a lot of market share. So we thought AI by 2030 was going to be near $2 trillion market, TAM, total addressable market, like 1.6. I have a bunch of charts.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, ARK comes out,
80.
and they say it's insane.
Yeah.
It is freaking insane. And then they gave some other numbers of how much it can produce for businesses, and
like
I think
200 trillion or something.
Bro, it's so crazy. So even if you think ARK is full of shit, let's just divide what they said by 10. Let's just say 10% of what they're saying is truthful. That's still 8 trillion. The other estimates are at under 2 trillion. Even 2 trillion is fucking massive. But if we get 8 trillion, bro, Palantir is literally going to be the next Amazon for books, what they did for ordering online, or Google for search, or Microsoft for operating systems. Yo, they're there. Like they can literally be making the next iPod, right? Like Apple did.
Yeah.
It's massive.
No, it's exciting. It's very exciting, and that's why it's like we're gonna end up seeing what's happening. I think you have a good point that OpenAI being valued at $30 billion for not really much other than introducing ChatGPT, and Palantir having real revenues and products and valuations, allowing them to be at that same 30 billion makes a lot of sense. The question now is just where does the market see that going? And again, we're seeing it fall down a little bit to the low 12s. This is and now it's below 12. Well, this is a nice run up, and like it's got to be a healthy run up. You know, if it went to $20 by today, I think both of us would be like, no, we're selling because this is stupid. So if we get to a healthy 12, 13 floor by the next month or 2 months, that's really a slow approach to get there. That's a healthy way to get there. And we will see if we end up staying there for the long term.
Yeah, I'll be happy if we, bro, honestly, if we maintain somewhere around these prices is good. You don't have to make green every day, but we completely went past the floor, right? The floor. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the best wishes. If the floor now becomes, let's say 12 or 11, we were hoping the floor would be 10. We thought it couldn't hold, right? Chicken Genius sold. Shout out to him. He made a shit ton of money. No hate at all. But he says, I'm waiting to see two things. If Palantir retreats to $7, $8, I'll buy in. Or if Palantir can hold $10 for a while, I'll buy back in. That was my understanding of what he was saying, right? So I think a lot of people are going to be buying back in if there is a floor that is met right now.
So we have the Palantir co-founder Joe Lonsdale talking about everything you were talking about when it comes to AI. Let's take a look at this clip. He went on CNBC yesterday. He doesn't work at the company anymore, but he was pivotal in finding the company. And so let's listen to his thoughts on AI.
With BBC's David Faber this week must said it's all about free speech.
You know, I'm reminded of the
8VC and co-founder of Palantir. You know Elon very well. I'm curious just what was your takeaway from that exchange?
Well, you know, Andrew, I'm glad he's being a role model in this sense to so many others. I think the biggest cowards in America are those who run the Fortune 500 companies and those who run big funds. You know, there's this sense that there's one side that's correct, you can't criticize. In any society, you want to understand how authoritarianism works. It's a side you're not allowed to go against. They want to have like an inevitable victory of their ideology, and everyone just shut up, go along. And you know, in Elon's view and in my view, this is, you know, hurting hundreds of thousands of vulnerable people in our cities. It's breaking lots of things, and it's a duty of people to speak up and say what they think.
Can you square one part of this though for us, which is, you know, Elon says money, power, you know, I'll do it. I don't care. And yet the truth is, when it comes to doing business in China, when it comes to doing business in Turkey, he's now limited what's publishable in Turkey, in part because the country has said, we don't want you doing that. Other companies, other tech companies, Google, Facebook, others have said, we're not going to actually play in these markets because we actually don't want to have to deal with those laws and those rules.
I think that's a very fair point. I think every company has a very tough decision to make. Do you turn off everything in that country, or do you leave things on in that country and go along with the rules? And I personally think
but what does that say then about power and money? If you really are willing to, if power and money don't matter, and you will say whatever you want, no matter what you want, the principle, if this is really about just straight up principles, you'd say, you know what, I can't do business with those people. I can't do business in China. This is just not for me. I'm not doing it. And actually the stand I'm taking is a strictly principled one. And the reason I'm suggesting that there's something else here beyond.
I think you're right that everyone running a big company on the international stage today who does any business at all in any of these countries is going to make some compromises. And I think it's good to be transparent at the very least about it. I actually do think, Andrew, that most of the other social media companies, as my understanding is, do follow the rules in Turkey as well. They just don't talk about it out loud. So, you know, I personally, again, I'm very troubled by that. I don't think that guy running Turkey is a good person. I think he's very scary. But I understand. You're right. Companies do make compromises to do business in these places. It's very hard to be a perfectly pure person. I think being able to stand up as much as you can is a good thing, and people are going to make trade-offs where they decide to stand up. I think that's correct.
Let's pivot this conversation to AI, because there is this sort of interesting free speech issue around AI as well. And actually, Elon, I think to the extent that he's pursuing a sort of competitor to a ChatGPT or to a Google Bard or to a Anthropic or what have you, is really about creating an AI where you can say that the AI will speak in whatever language and say whatever it wants. Whereas what you've seen over the last several months is ChatGPT, now in partnership with Microsoft, they've put some guardrails around what AI will come back with in terms of the responses and the answers and the reasoning. Similarly, Google and Bard have been even more particularly uniquely cautious, perhaps. Are those good decisions, bad decisions? And what happens on the other side if the view is that there's no decisions?
Well, I don't know exactly what Elon's doing there. I'm good friends with a lot of the people at OpenAI. I know Sam well, a lot of people running that place, used to work with me on Palantir and otherwise. And, I think OpenAI is doing extraordinary things. I think the question, the trade-off, Andrew, there's first of all, yes, how much you censor yourself? I definitely don't think the government should be involved. That's terrifying. I think it should be terrifying to all of us because this is going to run so many workflows in our society, and having that decided top down, I don't think that's right. I think we got to be very careful. I think there is regulation we should think about, which is that it's not clear we want autocrats to have access to this. And so it's Sam testified this week, as you saw in Congress.
Yep.
And I think this idea of a regulatory agency that touches anything other than the existential issue is a big mistake, because I think the existential issue, which we all have, is that maybe the GPT-12 in 10 years is powerful enough that it could do things to destroy stuff. And the question is, who gets to have a giant super clusters of GPUs? And I think that's the most interesting regulatory question. I think the rest of it, there should be multiple of them. It should be decided by industry, bottom up.
How much, though, of even the conversation about regulation on AI is just hot air? And when I say that, and I'm not being dismissive, I'm glad, frankly, folks like Sam are so early in trying to bring this conversation to the discourse. But Washington, as you know, as well as anybody, has been behind in terms of even thinking about regulation the entire time.
All right, so we'll get back to that later, but I mean, he's basically saying OpenAI is cool, and we need to understand the implications of where a lot of this AI stuff is going, especially from a free speech perspective. Palantir falling to 1179. Again, we kind of said this in the beginning of the stream. This is normal. It is Friday. People are selling off. People are taking profits. The stock is not going to rally to 13, 14 bucks. If it goes to 14, it's up 100% in a week. That's not happening. It usually doesn't tend to happen. So people are taking the profits, which is totally normal. It makes sense.
I believe Jerome Powell is speaking at 11, not 10, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan.
What is he saying today? What's Jerome saying today?
Basically, he does annual presentations. I'm actually going to be filming it live. If it's at 10, then I'm going to go start it soon.
Okay, very cool. I didn't know he was speaking. Okay, all right. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we're seeing a lot of we're seeing a little bit of decline in the stock price, and it makes sense. I mean, people are taking some of their profits. My thing is, if we can hold 10 to 11 and establish a real floor, that is going to be something that all Palantir investors can be happy about. I mean, you can't ask for much going from 7 to 11 in 2 weeks. That's up 40%. That's not easy to do. And so if we're doing that, that's awesome.
Guys, I mean, I just want to... these little subliminal things is so crazy. So first of all, shout out to the guy who's interviewing us on CNBC. That guy loves Palantir. He shouts it out. He basically was shitting on Tesla a little bit because he loves Palantir. That's what I felt like. Not he's disrespecting, but he's taking little jabs at it. At the same time, they have all of these companies that are investing massively into AI. Look at all the tickers in the back: Adobe, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Salesforce. Where's Palantir? Where's Palantir? Name me one company over there that is a better bang for your buck, pure AI play than Palantir of those tickers. And they're literally talking to a co-founder of Palantir with no Palantir ticker symbol. How fucking disrespectful is that? Think about that. What's going to happen when they have it? What's going to happen when Palantir is going to be Palantir?
Because that does happen, man. That used to be with Tesla, and now Tesla's all they fucking talk about. Because Tesla is getting it's also the way the media works is you have to talk about things that are interesting to people. And for us, we've been able to create independent media around Palantir, and people find it interesting because a lot of people are smart investors that don't rely on CNBC. But eventually when Palantir's 30, 40 bucks, CNBC has to find it interesting because there's going to be a lot more interest and it's going to get a lot more coverage, but that's just not happening currently right now. So
I agree. How's everything? But it went down, but I was watching the price. It's going up. Right now, it's 1180 again. So it's fighting. It's fighting. If we just don't drop, if we don't have a massive drop, I will be excited. Even if we close even, I'll be super happy because we're able to hold it. See what's going to happen. What else are you excited on?
Well, I mean, let's look at some of the charts right now. We've got a bunch of stocks that are doing pretty well. NVIDIA, do you have any NVIDIA, Adam?
No, I sold out of NVIDIA a while ago to cover my margins a while ago. I don't hate me. I think NVIDIA is a ridiculously good company. Two big issues with NVIDIA. Number one, it's massively overvalued in terms of straight PE, massively overvalued in my opinion. And number two, pay attention to what's happening with Taiwan, right? If Taiwan does get invaded, what happens to NVIDIA? And then if Taiwan does get invaded, NVIDIA drops, I know my boy Chris is going to be buying a shit ton of NVIDIA when that happens, because that's going to be a value play, right? Because it's going to come out on top eventually. Yeah, but NVIDIA is a great company. I just feel like it doesn't deserve this crazy run-up because they're banking on NVIDIA's AI, right? I don't know.
Correct. I mean, it basically is seen as a monopoly for chips, and that's why I think that's why the people are running to safety in NVIDIA out of all these stocks. But yeah, that's what I guess the market is thinking of it as. Do you have any Meta at all? No Meta.
I'll tell you what I have. I'll tell you my positions right now. I missed the boat with Meta. I didn't have the cash. I had to reorganize a bunch of things, so I didn't have spare cash. But I have a Palantir. I have HIMS in no particular order. I have Microsoft. I have Google. I have TFC. I have JEPI for a dividend play as well. And I have MicroStrategy, which is essentially a Bitcoin play. That's my holdings. And then I have some option plays for that I bought a while ago for different types of stocks.
So Palantir, Meta, MicroStrategy, and HIMS. That's your portfolio.
No. Leave it to Ahmed to completely take whatever I say, throw it out the window, and he just remembers Palantir and HIMS. The first thing I literally said is, I don't have any Meta. And he says, so Palantir, HIMS, and Meta. Palantir, HIMS, Microsoft, Google, and TFC.
Oh, okay. Got you. Got it.
That's my plays. I think there's a lot of money on HIMS as well to run. I made a video earlier. That's so
Your
on the
HIMS are
radar.
up nicely on that one, right?
Beautifully. I was talking about it from $3.50. And I know nobody cares except for the people printing money.
This is the one I needed you to text me about personally and tell me about. This is the one I need.
Yeah. So this thing should have ran on earnings. It smashed earnings. And remember, every earnings, they raise the bar. Not only do they meet earnings, not only do they smash earnings, they raise the expectations for earnings every earnings. So this earnings, they raise the expectations for next earnings. And then they not only meet it, they smash, not just meet, destroy earnings. And this is not warranted. This is the first time out of the last 5 earnings that they actually destroyed and didn't do double digits increase. So I'm waiting for this, and I will buy options for the next earnings on this. So
okay,
far.
Adam, I know you got to go soon, but what are your thoughts on Wejo? Quick thoughts on Wejo.
I don't know enough about Wejo. I know they collect more information than Tesla by far, and that's so Wejo is a bunch of sensors, and you put sensors on cars, and they give you a bunch of real-time information. The real-time information that they collect is more real-time information by far, not even close, by many X's of Tesla. For you guys to understand that, Tesla collects more data than any other car company by far, and more than any other companies in general. So anytime somebody can do anything more or better than Tesla, you should watch them. I don't know how they're going to monetize. That's my problem. I don't understand their path to profitability. They're going to have a really hard time to sell this data. I understand who wants to buy it, right? I get who wants to buy it, insurance companies, and there's other, but I think they're going to have a really hard time to monetize. If I was to pick one SPAC that I want to invest in, it would be Lilium, a Palantir SPAC. Lilium. Lilium is an extremely interesting play, and it seems like they're on their path to do what they're saying they're going to do.
Yeah, the eVTOL space is very interesting as well. So
huge, and it's like literally right in the beginning.
Yeah. All right, so you got this JPOW presentation. I didn't even know JPOW was going live, but
it's going to be at 11. So I have.
It's going to be 11. Oh, so you still have time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Anyone in the chat that has any questions for me or Adam, you guys can put it in the chat and we can talk a little bit more about it. What is your, I want to get your thoughts on one question, and then I want to actually, no, let's do this first, then I'll ask your thoughts on this question. So let's take a look at what CNBC is analyzing in the context of inflation. The context here is that CPI is below the Fed funds rate. Okay, so we're at 4.9 on Fed funds, 5.25, and CPI is 4.9, which means some people are estimating we're going to get an 800 basis points decrease to 4.1 in June, which if that happens, the Fed has to pause no matter what. And if that happens, there's this moon and a lot of stocks are going to it. So let's take a little bit of analysis on what's going on with inflation and what the central bank is going to do in June.
The Fed's rate hike path, we want to bring in Greg Ip. He is the Wall Street Journal's chief economics commentator and deputy economics editor, too. And Greg, you had a great piece. I think it was earlier this week, maybe it was last week, but it made me think about things differently. Just the idea that this 4 to 5% inflation, while it's lower inflation, is kind of getting stubbornly ingrained, and consumers are getting used to it, which means companies can then raise their prices. And that is a very different take. What worries you about that scenario?
Well, the fact that companies are boasting about their pricing power and that they can raise prices without losing sales is telling us they're just not getting a lot of resistance from consumers. And I think that's for two reasons. One, first of all, consumers are feeling pretty flush. Their wages are going up. Job growth is very strong. And number two, I think there's an element of them getting used to it. If they were used to 2% inflation and the supermarket raised prices on them, they might say, whoa, I'm going to, shop around a little bit. And that's not happening. And, going over some of the Fed speak that Steve was just referring to, the thing that I find quite striking is that pretty much everybody, the hawks and the doves, agree that inflation is too high right now, and it seems to have stalled out. We went from 9% to 5% on the headline inflation rate, and now we're sort of stuck there. The core inflation rate is, moving along at 4 to 5%. Not much evidence that it's moving down. So the only thing that really sets the hawks and the doves apart is that the doves think, well, give us a few months and all that Fed tightening and bank weakness will cool off the economy and bring down inflation. And the hawks are saying, I don't think so. But both agree that they're not seeing the progress on inflation that they'd hoped for.
Steve, what do you think about that? Just this idea that we're becoming complacent to inflation that is higher than the Fed's target, at least double, maybe even 150% times that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to imagine, this is not scientific, Becky, but it's cultural. And I think the best person to read about this is Tom Barkin from Richmond, who's talked about this notion that up until we ran into this inflation run we're having now, the culture inside companies was one of you wouldn't raise prices. The supplier would call and say, I have to charge you more. The guy would say, you know what, you go back and sharpen your pencil and find me a different price that's lower. Now, the way I begin inflation speeches right now is the most important element, Becky, is that the cat is out of the bag. The cultural notion of the ability of company to raise prices is now dramatically different from it was. And what I worry about, and I think what the Fed, listening to Greg, I think Fed officials freak out when they hear what Greg is saying. And I worry about the following conversation. Hey guys, listen, I got some good news for you. The price increase this year is not going to be 10%. It's going to be 5%. And if that 5% becomes ingrained and becomes something that's a salve to the purchaser, that's when the Fed is in trouble and it loses its 2% target.
Greg, what do you think they are most?
What do you think about inflation, Adam? Do you think we're coming in by like 3% by December and the Fed has to pause this year?
Do you remember me and you I shared a video? Do you remember like I pulled out like a piece of paper and I'm like, this is going to be the inflation. Do you remember that? I had it like written down with my scribble.
Yeah.
I swear to God, guys, you guys can fact check me. I got it literally right within a 25 basis points, a 0.25 basis points. There's a video out there. I'll find it. Amit knows what I'm talking about. Like I literally called every single raise properly. I think I missed one. I believe that they're going to be lowering interest rates this year.
Chris does too. He thinks it's coming. He thinks the Fed's got to cut.
So right now, the CME is saying 60% no rate hike, and CMA Future Fed Watch, that's like what the market believes, and 40% believes that it's going to be nothing at all. I don't know what's going to happen in the next meeting. I can't see them raising it. They shouldn't be raising it. They need to chill out and watch what's happening. In terms of inflation and the actual inflation, I think actual inflation is higher than it is right now. They changed the way that they're calculating the inflation to annual instead of biannual. How much that makes a difference, I'm still trying to figure out the exact numbers. For the life of me, I can't figure out how to calculate it, to be honest. If anybody has the real calculations, I would love it. So inflation actually was supposed to be higher than it is right now. To what degree, I don't know. Why would you do this? Like, let's just think about this. Why logically would you do this? The only logical reason you would do this is to be able to accommodate something. Well, what are you trying to accommodate? Who, right? If you want to figure out who did something, figure out who prospered the most. So by artificially lowering the inflation rate, this allows them to, thank you so much, Noah. This allows them to reset the rates or lower the rates. Why would they not take advantage to that? Also, not to get political, any party wants to win elections. 24 is going to be an election year. They need to figure things out before the election year. They want to lower interest rates to try to drive up the market so that people are going to be happy going into elections. So I believe this year, towards the end of the year, which is what I was saying a year ago when we were talking about this, I have the videos, they're going to be lowering interest rates. If this is true or false, I have no idea. This is my opinion. Plus, bro, we've been at this low market already for a year and a half.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Right? Which is
a long time.
An average low market in modern day. Modern day market is anything after World War II. That's the modern day market. Modern day market, the average bear market, depending on how you calculate it, approximately is 10, 11 months. That's the average of the new age bear markets.
Because eventually companies perform and people want to buy good things. And after 10, 11 months, they get and basically in individual equities, the bear market has been over. Meta, Google, right? Like these stocks are at either 52-week highs or they've recovered very nicely from their lows. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Bro, this economy is crazy. All I could say is have some money on the sidelines. I could also say another thing. A lot of people always talk the talk of, I wish the price backtracks. Yep. But when the price backtracks, nobody is buying. 9 out of 10 people. This is happening to HIMS. I said it earlier. No one's buying. When the price goes up, you guys all beg, please, please, I wish the price goes down. I don't want the price to go down. I'm happy because I was buying on the way down. Take advantages of downturns and enjoy the upturns. But you should be buying when it's going down. I made a huge mistake. I'm never making that fucking mistake again. There is always opportunities to buy.
Yeah, and I think the hard part for Palantir shareholders is like when it was falling from 22 in November 2021 to 12 by February 2022. So in a matter of 5 months, I was buying a lot at 12, at 13, at 11. The problem is that motherfucker dropped to 7, 8, and then it's like you're running out of cash. But even then, if you were buying at 12 from 20, and nothing has changed, it's not fucking GameStop, buy it at 7. Right? This is how real wealth is created. And even I have still not fully learned the lesson. Otherwise, I would be up even more money today. Because I would have bought
the problem is when there's this euphoria and the market is going up, and then the market retraces a little bit, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get a great deal. Yo, just chill out, relax, let out some gas, and just chill. And wait for the market to go down more and buy at the bottoms or what you think is going to get the bottoms. I know it's easier said than done, but don't get so excited when there's a small drop.
Yes,
wait for...
I think this is also important what you're saying right here is like this moment of Palantir running should be another psychological reminder that if it does come down again, which is very possible, to actually execute on that, oh my God, I wish I bought. Because like if you got another chance and you get the chance to execute on buying, you start to become what you say you are, which is a real investor.
Yeah.
Who has conviction. Quarantine Quartet, shout out to the $5, $5 for 500. Thank you so much for the super chat. Means a lot. Buying more Palantir under 10. Mitten Berg in the same stream. Dang, yep, we got the Bergman here. I bought as much as I could under 10, but need to see some execution over this next 10 years. Yeah, and I mean, look, $10, $12 is not a main difference, but $7, that fucker was stupid, and none of us were buying as much as we should have. None of us.
I thought that it might have went down again. Again, I was loading up, but I didn't get a chance to do sixes like you. I was waiting for that.
Yep.
And I learned my lesson also. Always have money on the sidelines. I was so fucked with margin. I had no money on the sidelines. I got fucking wrecked. Very hard to recover. Thankfully, I did. So
okay, Chris sent me a photo, so I'm going to show that photo because he wants me to show it to people on the stream. This is a photo of a position that he just opened, which are some puts on Palantir. And he said, I didn't sell, I bought some puts. That's he said you could tell people that's how you got a position. And look, I kind of agree with him here. I do not tend to buy that many puts, right? But I think the idea is if you have a large position on a run up like today with Palantir, the premium you're going to pay for the puts is much smaller in terms of the mental sanity you'll get. If it does come down, which on a day like a Friday where it's at 52-week highs, it probably will. versus, having to ride it all the way down and then not make any money on the downside. So it's another investing strategy that a lot of people can do. Is Cathie buying more today? I don't know. Friday, she doesn't buy that much, but we'll see. If it gets down even lower, I think she would happily buy a lot more. What are your thoughts on Cathie buying another 200,000 shares yesterday?
Yeah, I think that's great. But we knew that was going to happen. She doesn't just stop. I think she needs another Tesla moment. I'll be honest with you. All her stock picks have been trash, if I'm not mistaken, except for Tesla. And she really needs a big moment. Well, what's the other play? Again, that really potential to go 5, 10x, right? More is Palantir. Yeah. Not to say it will. So I like it, and I think she's going to keep buying more, to be honest with you.
Someone asked Adam your thoughts on SoFi. Any thoughts you have on SoFi?
I don't know much about it, guys. I just listened to Amit. I know very little about it, so I can't really talk about it.
Yeah, Chris will be on SoFi Weekly today. He has laid out a pretty strong bull case, so we'll be talking about it tonight on SoFi. Pound Trillion says not selling because we're missing NHS Titan, S&P 500 growth accelerating, market realizing that Palantir was always the real AI player. Yeah, there's a lot of catalysts. For people that have been thinking about catalysts, NHS still is huge. And the reason NHS is huge, so it'll be 550 million top line on revenue. So you divide that by 5 years or 4 years, talking about 100, 125 million a year. That doesn't matter as much as the fact that like a 14, 15, 20 billion dollar company is managing the entire health end-to-end data infrastructure for 70 million people. The implications of them even increasing efficiencies by 2%, which I think they're going to do by 20, 30%. How many more lives will be better off in the UK because of Palantir software? But more importantly, from a Palantir company perspective, how much credence is that going to give to the company to be able to get even more deals to save more lives in other socialized healthcare systems across the world that are filled with bureaucracy and inefficiencies? Like,
agreed.
Managing the NHS, bro, that's fucking insane. It's just one of those things where Palantir becomes a household name. It's like AWS with cloud computing, right? Like everyone knows AWS is the cloud computing software. If everyone could know Palantir is the operating system for data integration across the entire world, that's a really big deal. And we just got to see if it ends up playing out. Bought another 700 shares of SoFi now, 14K total. Not bad at all. Good price to get in at TFC. I think the fair value of TFC is 57. It should come back to 45. That's where it was back in February before the crash. Below 30 is fine. Even at 30 is not a big deal, but 27, 26 was where we were talking about TFC.
I like TFC more and more. I mean, if for anybody that asked about SoFi, I listened to these guys talk, on their podcast, and it seems like SoFi has a double up potential. But the double up potential for SoFi is, can they execute their plans to achieve that valuation? And the double up for TFC is, can they just come back to where they should be? They don't need to execute shit. Just don't go under. For me, TFC would be a better buy than SoFi due to that. If all else is equal, it's easier to get back to where you should be as opposed to getting to where you need to be, if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.
Correct. Okay, last question for you, and then we got to end the stream. 30 seconds. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin?
I'm super bullish on crypto in general. I think the first investment anybody should make in cryptocurrency, not financial advice, should be Bitcoin. There's a lot of other opportunities there where you can really multiply your investments, but Bitcoin is an extremely sound investment. You might not make the most money, but you'll make good money, and you'll probably lose the least. With that said, there's a lot of regulations and a lot of hate. They're calling for Gary Gensler to be stepped down. A lot of congressmen are calling for his resignation. And if that happens, I believe it should go up. There's going to be a halving in 2024, and that should lead us to a bull run by 2025 into.
Okay, very cool. We will see where it goes. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to put the Twitters in the description real quick. Your thoughts on Solana? Any quick thoughts on that?
So there's two ways to think about this. If you're in the camp of talking about pure cryptocurrency and decentralization versus centralization, Solana is absolute trash. Solana states a lot of things. Solana went lights out more times than Amit changes his camera. Literally went out like a dozen times in the last year. The capabilities that they're saying all their transactions per second are messaging transactions. They're not actual transactions. They don't have the backing of Sam Bankman-Fried. With that said, there's still a lot of schmucks that invest into it and think the technology is good. Technology-wise, overvalued, and price-wise, overvalued. Algorand or Hedera, by far, better technology, better bang for your buck, and better opportunity.
See, Adam was saying all these words, all these things. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I trust him. I trust him.
Bro,
when he's talking about crypto, he's going off. It's like he's
I'm so excited that you allowed me to speak on it a little bit. You know, people are asking, and I'm so happy that you let me like actually say something. So I appreciate that. I could talk about crypto for days, but meanwhile, nobody watches my crypto channels. Nobody watches bro, I'm mad undervalued, bro. It's fucking crazy. Nobody watches my shit.
Bro, that is the motivational quote of the next fucking couple months. I am mad undervalued. Like, I love how you said that. You're like, bro, I'm fucking undervalued. People don't get it.
Can I say one thing?
100%.
Very few YouTubers can talk on the fly without Googling and talk. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of them regurgitate. Most of them are using writers or ChatGPT. How many YouTubers can talk about so many different topics? I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying I can talk about things. And people will only watch Let's Go to the Fucking Moon. Nobody gives a fuck about actual like talking about stuff. But anyways, thank you so much. 500 people. Wow. Good for you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I want to end it with this one thing. The thing you said, people regurgitate. There was a meme on Twitter of two guys in college, right? So there was a guy who was in his dorm, and he was watching he was watching the All In podcast, and he was watching Chamath talking. And the meme on Twitter was, "Oh look, there's my roommate getting all of his opinions for the next week." Because a lot of people, I'm guilty of this too, right? Sometimes you watch them, these fucking billionaires, they say some smart, like, I'll just say that on my podcast, and then you end up saying the same shit, and you're like, you're just copying this shit. That's hilarious. It's funny. So to have your own original thoughts and speak your own mind, you know, and I think I've been able to do that well with Palantir. You've been able to do that well with crypto. It's valuable. And people, you know.
You're good, bro. You're growing every day. Yo, I don't think people realize you're 26 now or 25.
I'll be 26 in October.
Bro, Amit's 25 years old. Let's just get this straight, okay, guys? Amit is 25 years old. Comes on YouTube, straight up admits, I'm not an expert in anything. I'm learning. I have a journey. He's now able to explain options. He's now able to explain theses. He's able to talk financial terms. He's able to now overview a financial statement. He's running his own corporation. He was able to raise, I invested, shout out to Odia. He was able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars of investments. The guy is doing mad fucking interviews with people to try to get more money, push his product forward. And he's running a million different podcasts. Like, how can you hate on that? Like, you might not like the guy, but how the fuck can you hate on the hustle? Like, it's insane. The guy is 25 years old. Think about what you were doing at 25 years old. Living in a basement, jerking off, and playing PlayStation. Let's be honest.
No, I appreciate that.
So, shout out to him.
No, I appreciate that. And, you know, to be honest, I think the community of Cultivated, there's not a lot of hate. There's people that'll say stuff here and there or whatever, but I think there's a lot of people that are just, you know, happy to be along the journey. And it's funny the way you said it, is like, I came on YouTube and said, I don't fucking know shit. And I think that's you can't act like you know shit. I see all these YouTubers who act like they know shit. It's like, bro, I don't know what the fucking RSI is, but I'll learn it. And then when I learn it, I can probably talk about it because I have some communication skills because I was one of the top 7 debaters in the country. So I can figure out a way to talk about it, but I don't know what that shit is, you know? And I think people respect that journey and they expect that authenticity. And then you just got to make it fun, man. And I think you do a great job at making crypto and YouTube fun. And if you can, people, you know,
Yeah. By the way, Coach Strap's coming to New York. He's going to get a meetup. You must come. We said
I'm there. I was texting him the other day.
Excommunicated if you don't come.
He said I'm excommunicated if I don't come?
No, I said that, but I'm making that up.
I couldn't come to the last one, bro, because I got so busy. But yeah, no, I'll definitely be there.
You got a $20 from Jesse.
Oh, my God, Jesse. This guy is great on Twitter. Let me plug this guy.
I was about to say, about to say that's Jesse from Twitter, bro. He has really, really, really good stuff. He's 42, self-made millionaire, if I'm not mistaken, and he's looking for generational wealth. That's him. I have a decent memory. I think that's the one I'm talking about. He does a shit ton of charts.
Yo, Jesse, can you put your @name real quick? Because I want to put your Twitter link there. Thank you for the super chat, man. I saw some of your Palantir technical analysis, and I was like, this shit's actually good. Because a lot of people try to do technical analysis. I will admit I really don't understand it that well. And Jesse was talking about filling this gap and all this shit, and it was better than what I've seen from a lot of other people because he was breaking it down in the thread, not just like posting it to post it. So
I agree. He has a really, really good Twitter.
Yeah, I can't find it just by search. Twitter search needs to fucking bro. I think it's like the worst thing on the planet. Twitter search. Like, you can't find shit. You just can't find anything. I'm like, I type in Jesse Dove, and it's giving me shit from September 1st, 2022. It's like, what's going on here?
Where's this chart, bro?
Can I get this fucking thing? Amit is a master debater. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Chris. Jesse has the good shit. Yep, absolutely. So I think the other thing is this was awesome. Finance Junkies also will be on Sunday. Adam, we got to get you on the podcast one of these days and just interview you about all the shit you've been doing.
Once I'm gonna be done with sleep training. I'm doing sleep training for my kid, bro. By the way, anybody that doesn't do sleep training, oh, yo, it's so funny. Thank God you asked that. Yo, I have a channel for fathers if you guys want, like parents. I got a channel. It's called Little Bumble Bliss. So if you guys want to check that out, if you guys are interested, I could talk about fatherhood all the time. Anyways,
by the way, this is his Twitter. There's Jesse. I got it. It's in the chat.
Yes. Jesse has an amazing channel. So sleep training is very simple. When you have a child, you have approximately 3 months to teach them something. They're sponges. If you start on first day, it's the best. You're teaching them when to eat on a schedule. My son goes to sleep 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m. He does not wake up until 7:30, 8 o'clock a.m. 12 hours of pure sleep. Wow. This is a toddler. My daughter, we started training earlier. We trained my son at like 6 weeks. We're training her since day one. And you basically give them a certain amount of ounces to feed at a certain amount of time. Every 3 hours. You start at 2 ounces, 3 ounces. Now she's at 4. After 6 weeks or 10 pounds, you start reducing the amount that you're giving them. The timing, but increase the amount. So instead of 4 ounces, you're going 5 ounces. Instead of every 3 hours, you're doing every 4 hours, for example. And then you modify it. Eventually, they're sleeping through the night. No crying, no waking up, no going to your bed, none of this bullshit. And now you have a whole night to yourself.
So you got to train the kid to be able to do that in the right way. Yeah.
Broski, And I have so many parents that are like, it doesn't work. I'm like, bro, I gave it to a dozen parents. All dozen, it worked for. But for you, it's not going to work. Like, people are so fucking full of shit. It's so fucking crazy. And then they complain to me, my son wakes me up at 4 o'clock. Well, go fuck yourself. I told you how to fucking fix it. You did it to yourself. And bro, and these guys are like all exhausted. They're like, Adam, I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you work. My son, he's driving me crazy. Did you do sleep training? It doesn't work. Well, okay, if you say it doesn't work, but it worked for 12 people that I personally know of, okay.
I love it. Can you put the parenting channel in the chat? People are asking for it. Got a 3-week-old. It's true. As a father, I agree. My kids are trained, and I'm currently training them in finances. Yeah, Adam, you got to get these kids picking stocks by like age 5.
So, yeah, I opened up a custodian account. Again, bro, I make these videos. Nobody fucking watches. I had like 4 people watch this video. To open up a custodial account, how to do taxes for your kids, the kiddie tax, the thresholds of a kiddie tax, your personal taxes, tax loss harvesting, things like that. But yeah, be up on your kids. Take care of your kids. My son is up. I got him Palantir when it was like, I think I got him in 8s. He's
That's
up.
so nice. That's so nice. I love it. Just get him for your kids. Chris says, I never was sleep. Bro, Chris, I'm really worried about Chris now. I'm actually worried about him. Because he's not sleeping. You know his excuse? He's like, guys, this is a generational opportunity. This is like 2008. I got to find these tickers so I can chill for the next 10 years. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But motherfucker, you don't need to, you could go to sleep at 10 a.m. He works all night. It's like you sleep for 2 hours, but then again, the market opens at 9:30, so that's why he's awake. But he's not sleeping. He's finding these opportunities. And I respect the hustle. I respect the grind a lot.
He's a monster.
Podcast with me at 10 p.m. and he's tired as shit.
So Chris is a monster, bro. Like, I never realized Chris is such a monster. He's hustling. Like, I know his master plan about life. We talk a little bit like between real estate and family, which I'm not gonna get into. And he has a plan, and he's going through the plan. Boy was in the military, working hard, family man. Like, bro, he doesn't make YouTube videos no more, right? Chris has not made a video in quite a while.
He doesn't like talking to the camera by himself. He really loves the podcast environment, which I understand. because it's just a different skill. It's more annoying. You gotta come up with ideas. That's why people don't get the YouTube grind, bro. They don't like. I mean, you and me know, like, to have an idea, to stand there, to talk, to make it interesting, to title and thumbnail, and to do that a couple times a day. It's a fucking hard. It's not easy. It's a grind, and that's why.
Yeah.
And again, you can make the most valuable content about parenting. But if the algorithm doesn't respect, and that's why I ring the bell. People are like, why the fuck do you keep ringing the bell at 300, 400, 500? I'm like, to get 500, 400 people to care. It's so hard, and you can never take that for granted. I don't care if you're Meet Kevin level. You cannot take that for granted. The problem with a lot of those guys is they take it for granted and end up selling out their audience. I'm not saying that for Meet Kevin. I'm just saying that's what ends up happening. But you can't take it for granted ever. And that's the one thing I think people respect about me and the Finance Junkies and you. It's like, we don't take anything for granted. Because I remember what it feels like talking to 3, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people. And when you got 400, it just feels better.
Real fast, bro. Shout out to the parents who are really, who have toddlers and stuff. Every Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, you go to any Home Depot. I posted a video link. They have an arts and crafts. It's open from 9 to 12. You can come anytime. It's unbelievable. They have a new craft every single time where you put together. They give you the tools. They give you a little Home Depot apron, totally 100% free. Your kids will love it. Take advantage of it.
Love it. All right, Palantir at 1170, Tesla at 180. Not bad for those who are average.
Palantir is even, right?
Palantir's even. Yeah, and look,
Yes.
Palantir, if we can be at 1170 for the next 2 months, I will be very happy. Just in terms of floor action, if we get lower, I would be even more happier. But we're probably not going to see that 12 run up unless we get a little bit more buying pressure later throughout the day. But not bad as well.
Did you think we were going to see 25% in 2 days either?
I mean, I didn't see that. 40% in a week. 40% in a week. Come on now,
bro. It's nice.
This guy, USA to Telugu magician vlog. I remember when Amit had one viewer and it was me. His channel name was Daily. I was called the Daily Business Show. That was my name.
Bro, the guy's not even an investor in Wejo. They flew him out to fucking Vegas. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bitter because I was making Wejo videos and I'm like, bro, like that's so dope. I'm very happy. I'm not a hater on nobody. I'm so happy for him. But I was a little like bitter in a good way. I was like, oh man, that's so freaking cool. Like, bro, he had some of the biggest interviews, right? Like, he interviewed Tom, he interviewed Jeremy. He was in Jeremy's house. Like, whether you like these guys or not, they're huge fucking names. You know what I mean? Like, and the kid did it at 24 years old. Like, think about that, right? That's a hustle.
It's a hustle. We just got to keep going. Just got to keep going. All right, Adam. I appreciate you. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, guys.
Please make sure to follow Adam on Twitter. I'm going to put it one more time in the chat. And that's it for the morning streams for the week. We had 400 every single day this morning. Maybe that's a new floor for us, just like Palantir is developing a bit of a new floor, and we'll keep going from there. Finance Junkies returns 10 p.m. Eastern Sunday nights. We'll have a lot to talk about, and I'll see you guys then. SoFi Weekly and Palantir Weekly tonight.
Palantir is green. I'm going live in 30 minutes on my channel to cover Jerome Powell. Bye.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have a great day.